This is AJ with AJ's Green Thumb. How you doing, Green Thumb friends? So in today's video, we're gonna pick up where I left off at, pruning roses. So I have a few more roses to go ahead and prune, and after that, we'll jump into some other tasks. I do have to make another plant bed for either one or two of these columns underneath this pergola. The same pergola where I went ahead positioned Lady Banks under. So let's go ahead and get started. So over here at the fountain garden, I have two Rad Sunny roses. These are shrub roses. And with these, like you saw in my last video, you can be a little more vigorous with pruning these. I'm gonna prune them down to about probably 6-7 inches, and we'll move on to the next ones. So again, with pruning roses, you just got to get up in there. All right, start from the bottom. What are the canes I want to keep? This has got 2 old canes and 2 new canes. All right. Since we want a vase habit, so we're going to open this one up so it has a better spread. I know it looks drastic, so this is what we're left with. Yep, that will triple in size over the season. What you want to do is clean up all the old leaves, all the old rose leaves, because they may be harboring diseases from the past season. Since I'm over here, I'm just gonna clean the bed up because it's not really a big bed. So I could stand to divert from doing just roses. Now I'm going to go ahead and trim back these carex, these variegated carex. Good here. I'm gonna go ahead and fertilize everything one time. One thing I forgot to do was clear the truck. I got a haul. So let's go do that real quick. So I just finished putting an application of just general plant tone. It's an all-purpose plant food by Espoma Organic, and straight to the point. Just put a generous handful around the drip line of each plant and scratch it in, and that's it. This hosta right here, this is the crown. Let's zoom in a little bit. Right here is the crown, which meets the soil line. So you would go out for a hosta such as this size. I think it's about probably 3 quarts as far as when it was planted. So you just go out about 5 inches from the drip line, and you put a generous amount of fertilizer. It's like a small handful, and then you scratch it in. I'm going to do that for all the plants, and then follow it by a good drench and a fresh topping off of mulch. All right, guys, so this is what I'm going to use for the liquid fertilizer for the rose. Blooming and rooting. So these 2 roses in particular, they spent their first winter planted, and they went through the winter and they seem to fare pretty well. But I want to give them a little extra oomph, in addition to some rose tone, which I plan on giving them later on, a couple weeks from now. But I want them to kind of wake up and start getting ready to produce some flowers. That's why I bought them. I want flowers from them. So, all right, let's go water them in. So in here, I put a generous tablespoon, and it's about a gallon. Mixed it up, and I'm gonna just water them in. So I'm paying attention to the drip line, just watering in a circular motion. Get that root zone nice and saturated. Over here I got a HF Young clematis, which I already put some plant tone around, but I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of this blooming solution around it. So one last thing I forgot to mention, with these roses, I like to also, in addition to giving them a hard prune, putting some leaf mold compost around the root zone as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the mulch aside and do just that. Just be gentle around the root zone with this little hand rake. But the thing about roses is that they're hungry feeders. So all of this TLC we're giving them, trust me, they'll gobble it up. See that? Put a nice, thick, rich layer of compost around the rows, and then bring the mulch back around it. Simple as that. And top that off with some fresh mulch. And there you go. That rose is taken care of. Now right here I have a potted rose. This is a oh so easy, I think it's a coral, oh so easy coral, and it did pretty good in this pot over the last season. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a hard prune and freshen it up with some topsoil, or compost rather. All right, now I got a nice seat. Let's dig in. Really simple with these flower carpet roses. Just go all the way down about 5 inches from the crown and just chop it all off. In addition to pruning and fertilizing, I do spray my roses too. So in the cooler period of spring, I remember to go in with some horticultural oil, and just before everything starts leafing out, I'd spray the roses so I'll prevent any insects from laying any eggs on the bush. As you can see with this, well, actually a lot of my roses, surprisingly, this winter has been pretty mild, believe it or not. And so a lot of my roses kept their leaves on, or a significant amount of leaves. All right, since this is looking kind of bare right now, I'm gonna go ahead and shove 2 Veronica Blues, well, Georgia Blues. There they go. I picked them up this morning. I actually picked up 3, but I'll go ahead and stick 2 in here. And it should fill it out real nice, because these get pretty bushy. So the filler will be the Veronica Blue, and then the rose will come up from that. And you'll see coral up top, and then you'll see blue at the bottom. That'll be pretty. Once I water this in, it'll settle a bit. So I'm not worried about the rose getting a little covered here. I love the oldie worldy age look of this planter. This actually was left behind by the previous owner, and then I went ahead and spray painted it, which I'll go ahead and do that a little later on, just to touch it up. All right, so I am going to water this in and put a thin layer of mulch. All right, garden friends, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here today. And I appreciate you hanging with me. We simply went over this fountain bed, cleaned it out a little bit, pruned some roses, clipped some of the perennials back, and fertilized and top dressed with some fresh mulch. So we also hit up a small container with a carpet rose and added some extra perennial plants to it as well. So I appreciate you guys hanging with me, and I look forward to you joining me in the next video. Take care. AJ's Green Thumb.